Is there hope? There seems to be this resignation that all this is useless because the Malays majority are not going to change, so to speak. I have to admit, sometimes I get really tired people telling us about, don't preach to the converted, to the urban, go to the rural. And do you know that's what we do 24/7? That's what we do every weekend. So if there is an award for the most optimistic opposition politician, I would have won it. Because let me tell you what I think. You must start on the right footing. And on the right footing is that if you believe in the democratic process, and I do, just like Gobin, and I think everyone else, because you can't effect change by force. It doesn't work. You need to get the buy-in. Look at all the other countries, Tony said with Thailand and so on. If Hishamuddin Rais is here, he will be screaming at me. It's not so much about getting rid of Najib or UMNO. It is about making sure whatever you put after that is sustainable and can bring long-lasting change to the public. I don't want to be a part of anything that will plunge this country to more chaos. I don't want that, okay? So that's why at the end of the day, I still believe and 100% convinced it is a democratic process. Therefore, you must start on the right footing. If it's a democratic process, you must respect the voters. Trust the voters, whoever they are, even Ibrahim Ali for that matter. I do. I don't agree with him, but I trust his right to decide. In the same way, for example, in any democratic system, in British, you may not agree with the British National Party, the extreme right wing, but they have a right. They have a right. So you must start with that. Trust the voters and their wisdom, whether they are Malays, whether they are Chinese, whether they are Indians, and go back to the most basic thing about democracy. In order to win, you must console and convince them that you will look after them. As simple as that. So in that sense, the Malays are not that much different from the Chinese, the Indian, or anything else. We are not Martians, Malays are human beings just like anyone else. Our problem all this while is that I don't think we have really answered or attempted to attend to their concerns. Malays have changed before. It is wrong to say that Malays have not changed. To say that Malays are incapable of change, that's wrong. They have changed massively in 1999. The non-Malays have changed as well. So it is a process, and I've been telling everyone in any forum is that they have concerns about if there is a change in government, how do they fare? How do they fit into the whole thing? What happens to what they perceive as their interests? How is that any different from what the Chinese community or the Indian community or any other communities think about election? Obviously, when you go into election, you look for parties who can give you the comfort that your interest is looked after. There's no difference. So what we have to do now is to attend to that. That's why I've been asking, understanding from the non-Malays, from the urban, to understand that we have to go through that. To the question of whether do we have a plan? Of course we have a plan. Obviously we are at this stage now with Najib, 1MDB, and Tabung Haji and Nafsi. Do you think that it happens on its own? Of course it is planned. Because you need to understand that in order to prove that their interests are not taken care of by UMNO, then you have to see how UMNO has failed. And I think the Malays generally, your very much feared rural Malays, so to speak, I think they are at that stage now. They understand, they read the Facebook. To say that information doesn't go to them, that's not true. The the Facebook penetration in this country is 88%, which is one of the, I think, the highest in the world. Even Pakcik, 70-year-old, read Facebook nowadays. And WhatsApp. No, I'm not kidding, it's true. It's just that you need to answer their concern. So I think we've gone through certain stages. We've shown, for example, we start off, I think, in 2008, 2007, by convincing the more learned, educated, urban crowd that we are competent. Because the problem that was besetting opposition prior to 2008 was that people don't have confidence in the ability of opposition to govern or to have a design for the country. I mean, the plus point of BN has always been the economic management. That's why you see from 2008 is all about economic mismanagement of BN. And I feel so much so that by now it's a reverse now. When you talk about BN and economy, everyone laughs. Little that people forget that prior to 2008 the case was opposite. People hardly have confidence in opposition, So that first stage is done. Then you go to the next one, which is trying to explain and convince them that UMNO is a menace to them and everything that they hold dear. That's why tabung haji is important. It's emotive. That's why Mara is important. It's emotive. These are all planned, And we are now at the third stage. It's not enough just to make them realize that UMNO is not looking after their interests. We have to tell them how are we going to look after their interests. We are at that stage. I don't know, it takes about 6, 7, 8 months. We are covering the ground every week. I was in Kedah last weekend. I can feel the change. It's just that they have not crossed the line of trusting Pakatan. They have made up their mind that BN is gone or UMNO is gone. They have made up their mind. But they are thinking, you guys, so we have to cross that line. It takes time. It's a system that has been built in our society for 100 years. Have a little bit of patience, have a little bit of trust and faith, because we have to go through pain before it can get better. And I think it's at the tail end of it. Have trust, have a little bit more patience, and I think we'll be there. Thank you.